Welcome to the Selling Show, where we unpack, repack, and break down exactly how CEOs, founders, and senior executives sell their ideas, point of view, and personal brand to the people who matter most. This is your host, David Newman, and you are in the right place if you want to build market eminence, amplify your influence, and attract high-value prospects, investors, partners, talent, and media opportunities with less chasing and more confidence. Let's go. Well, my friends, he's back. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brian Bogert. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, brother. I feel like so often I'm not deserving of all of your kind words, but I love to around you because I feel like you're my flav. You can be my hype man.
That's it. And I got the big clock around my neck and I got the whole deal going on. So the last time you were here, you were dropping so much wisdom so fast and at such a depth that I thought we would go sort of behind the scenes a little bit. And so, by the way, for the folks that did not hear the first show with Brian, that is going to be linked in the show notes. Definitely check that one out. But I thought we'd go sort of, the man behind the wisdom, the man behind the wisdom. And you and I have had multiple calls. We've hung out in person. We have this emerging friendship that is really amazing. One question I have for you, because I hear you on podcasts, I hear you on stages. You have this quickness combined with confidence. So, for example, last time we were talking about something or other, and you immediately just clicked into something and you said, well, of course that's happening. And that's happening because of, the XYZ factor is impacting your ABC. And that's also, of course, reflected in your DEF. Period. Mic drop. Everyone's jaws hit the floor. Where do you get this combination, or how did you cultivate this combination of quickness, depth, and articulation? Because a lot of people, I'll just give you a little PS on the question here. A lot of people talk faster than they think. I think you talk exactly as fast as you think, and it is a marvel to watch, whether it's on a stage or a podcast or whatever. So take us behind the scenes a little bit. Like, was it always this way? Is this like a natural superpower? Or how did you develop the confidence and the clarity with which you share these ideas and principles?
First, I'm just going to say thank you, brother. I truly love you. I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you. And I love being back here. And even the nuance of how you asked that question, I'm humbled and grounded, and I was smiling and laughing throughout, because it's like, even the way, I loved how you even just described that and what you witnessed, because so often the way that I'll operate, even the people that I've worked with for months, people will ask them, what does Brian do? And even they are like, you can't really understand it until you witness it or experience it. And I say that truly with no ego, because I don't have anything to prove in this. But the answer to your question, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I think there are some natural abilities that I've always had. My parents will tell you I was speaking full sentences at 18 months.
That does not surprise me.
Not like words, like sentences, right? And I was communicating with depth early on. I've always been able to rely on my intellect, but I've also had windows of time where pain or different things as a result of everything I went through affected my intellect, and I would exist in such a fog. And so I have a very big appreciation for it. But I think there's also a lot of truth to the fact that these were things that were natural and gifted to me. However, they also were largely beat out of me without intention to do so. And so, one of the things you've heard me talk about a lot is that I do believe that our voices are our greatest assets. And yet mine has been handed over in so many times. And as I sit back and reflect, I even remember in my early 20s, having one of my business partners review really complex emails to make sure that they sounded okay or that they were appropriately or professionally structured. Because this man was 20 years my senior, and I'm trying to accommodate myself and fit in and be respected because I also had age against me, because I had age discrimination for years, because I'd walk in, and I still get it. I'm 40, and I still will walk in with people who've got kids my age, and they just kind of snicker until I start talking. And so why I say all this is because I did care so much about the words that came out of my mouth for a long time that I did really study the English language. And I think it was a survival technique, right?
Yeah.
I needed to understand words, and partially because I'm also highly neurodivergent, I can be very literal in my communication, right? And so if I'm not really paying attention both with my words, but then now my emotions, I could go off track. The big factor, though, is that I used to believe that I had a really poor memory. And what do I mean by that? I have had the privilege of doing many different things, but I always was in this belief that if I needed information, like if I needed to tell somebody how to rebuild a carburetor on an engine, that I would just go blank. Even though I've done it, I know how to do it, I'm a good teacher, it would just blank, and I would forget the names of the parts and the things that would write the specifics. Going back, though, to even what I taught originally, memory is accessing knowledge, which is fundamentally different than surrendering and allowing wisdom to flow through. Knowledge and that memory thing was because I was so worried about what I was going to say, and is it going to be received? Is it going to be understood? Is this going to land? Or I'm going to get respected? Am I going to have worth in what I'm contributing here? Is this too egotistical? Is this not? And when I say like it was an overly critical process for years, it was, and it was exhausting. I've always been told I have a gift and a way with words. So there's some truth to the fact that I've always had some grasp on my language and my ability to communicate it that's made it accessible to others. But what you've witnessed and this whole piece is something that it's less practice and tactical and more surrender and trust.
Yeah.
So literally, even the 3 words, trust, surrender, breathe, are on my arm.
Yeah.
And for example, I just got it now that I said this. I do hot seat coaching often on the tail end of a keynote. Right? You've seen me coach people in a moment. I've done it with you. Like, we've done little things where it's like, I see something and I trust it and I lean in. And one of the greatest compliments I get is when people come up to me afterwards and they're like, you're really not full of bullshit, are you? And I always laugh. It's like, well, I try not to be, like, you know, I'm all of us. But then I lean in and I'll say, tell me what you mean. It'll be gentlemen, men, our age, right? In the 20-year span of you and I, the 40s to 60s, that are like, I witnessed that you got goosebumps before you spoke, or I saw you shift. You feel everything, don't you? And I said, yeah. And so where am I going with this? The reason that I can do what I do is that I'm not worried about what I'm saying. I'm not protecting myself. I'm not protecting anybody else. I'm trying to be respectful. It's come from a place of genuine intent, different than what I teach with the armor. When I don't have to worry about what I say or accessing the specific knowledge. And you've also heard me give the caveat. I don't give 2 fucks about being right. I care about getting it right. Which also means that if I deliver what I'm about to deliver and it doesn't land, I one, ask permission to give the feedback. So people are open and receiving. And then 2, I tell them before I even speak, if this doesn't land, push it back right away, because what I know is it'll point us towards what's important. And I don't really care about trying to prove to you or shove any of what I'm seeing down your belief system. It's only if this is helpful. And so when I go into that complete surrender mode, I get these downloads. I see things, I feel things, and it's not a thought. It's not active other than how I'm allowing myself to feel through it in the moment.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things that I can channel on a concept or I can channel in coaching. I have the ability to do both, but what I'm always paying attention to is if my voice is my greatest asset, then how I use my voice is also the places that I can create the biggest amount of impact. And so for me, it's not about what I can prove, justify, or defend and how smart I am, how fast I can talk, how much value I can add. It's like, okay, was I able to be present enough in that moment to get enough of the information that I need to actually get the effective download to provide value in a way that I'm learning only I uniquely can in the way that I do it. It's not that I'm the only one who can add value, but in the ways that I do, I've yet to meet somebody who does it how I do it. And that's also why I can't replicate myself, because I can't teach how I do it. It's a culmination of all of my experiences that I'm letting flow through me versus having to direct something, if that makes sense.
Hey, super quick station break question. Have you seen our free executive briefing on elevating your CEO brand? Check it out right now at doitmarketing.com/webinar. And now back to the show. You know, this reminds me, there's so much to dig in there, but I want to take a quick little side trip about memorizing to access knowledge versus being in the flow and serving that audience in the moment. So I was doing there's an example. I was doing a program for a bank. And by the way, banks and I don't really get along. So sorry, banks, but this was 10 plus years ago. And I totally customized this entire experience. And it was experiential. There was activities, there was slides, there was stories, there was, large group, small group, masterminds, little mini masterminds. And one guy, this was delivered over the course of 3 months, and I think it was 6 sessions. So every 2 weeks we met, and there was eval forms because the bank insisted on evaluation forms. So this was like the second or third, maybe this was the second week. They didn't know me very well at that time. But so the second week, the guy writes on the evaluation form, "It felt like David did not know what slide was coming next." And so for years, that bugged the shit out of me because, number one, I didn't know what was necessarily coming next. It was like I was using the slides like flashcards to be in the moment and say, okay, now we're going to talk about this concept, but how it applies to you, your work, your team, your personal dynamics, all of this stuff. So there's something very interesting about putting a value on, this guy knows exactly what's coming next because he's inserting the cassette tape. Look it up, kids. It's on Wikipedia. Insert the cassette tape, hit play, and do the same spiel that you've done for 50 other audiences. Now, you've done hundreds and hundreds of presentations, probably never the same presentation twice. And I say that as a huge compliment because I've done hundreds and hundreds of presentations, never the same presentation twice. It's a combination of preparation and being in the moment. Nothing is memorized, everything is prepared, and you're there to serve that audience. And sometimes that can take a detour, that can take a left turn here or a right turn there. Sometimes the energy of the group tells you to insert something that you hadn't planned to talk about. Correct. And you call it a download. I've always called it the movie screen. I have this internal movie screen, whether I'm coaching a client, giving a presentation, and I will see things. I will see images. I will see words. I will see anecdotes, examples. When people ask guys like you and me, how do you tap in to that intuitive download, or how do you honor that internal big movie screen where you're sort of tracking along what you want to share, how you want to share it, what should come next to maximize the audience's experience? I know that we can't capture lightning in a bottle and there's no formula for, here's how you access the downloads, or, hey, David Newman, here's how you build your movie screen. Is it just about letting go? Is it about letting go of self-judgment? Or what are some building blocks that people could start with?
Yes. And before I fully answer this question, I want to hit on what you just said, though, because I didn't say it in my answer, though it is, I guess I assumed it was implied, and I want to make sure that it's crystal clear. There is something to be said about reps. So to your point, I learned early that my mouth could help me a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been selling in some form or fashion for my whole life, right? Whether I was a tennis pro and teaching and trying to sell people on couple $100 an hour rates to train, or I was running a tennis shop, or I was getting into college. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I've used my mouth and my language a lot. I've also been on well over 1,000 podcasts as a guest. I've interviewed well over 2,000 people as a host. To your point, I can't even count the number of stages I've been on, the number of virtual presentations I've given. And so I don't want to undermine the value of reps. Like, go look at my first YouTube videos from 2015 that were ever published. Go back all the way to the beginning in the history. though I was still good with words and delivery and confidence, you'll see as well as it's a different person.
Yeah.
But I've got 10 plus years more of reps now, 5 years of doing it professionally. And so, yes, to the point of answering your question, how do we get in that state? I am a big believer in creating our environments for success, right? But here's the reality. There's also a difference in getting to that state depending on, am I getting into a flow state to deliver a talk? Am I actually going to do some hot seat coaching? Do I have to answer? Like, there's different levels of the flow, right? I have to get into somewhat of a flow state for every mastermind session that we run because people after all these years, and they're like, Brian, you always somehow seem to deliver, but it's not about like what's next, even though we're planning forward. It's very much about helping people with what's right now.
Yeah.
And so the more I can center things into the now, and the more I can be present, the more I can allow that flow state. But it goes back to the longer form of what we talked about on the first call and the first interview, which is I have to get myself to a place where I've got a strong spine and a soft front. What does that mean? That I believe that I'm safe, that I'm protected, that I can be seen and understood, and that I can be connected, and that I don't have to carry any armor because I have nothing to justify, defend, or prove.
Yeah.
And so that's partially why I also give disclaimers. Right now, I'm a big believer when I get on stage. Dude, my anticipation runs. It feels like anxiety. It's not. It's energy waiting to be deployed. But it used to feel like anxiety coming 2 days in because it's like, well, the prepper, I'm not ready, or I'm not going to know what to do. But yet every time I'm on stage, the words that need to be there are there.
Yeah.
If I can trust that, if I can surrender to that I know and trust that I'll fill the void, I'll fill the words that need to be there, and that they may or may not even be my words because I'm channeling in some of those cases, right? To your point on getting into that state. But I have to get myself into that state where I am in no way in a protective state, right? And that's one thing to do it on getting on stage. But let's say keynotes right after I get off stage. Oftentimes, because there's so many snake oil salesmen in this business of speaking and coaching, right? So many people who promise the world and don't ever deliver. So many people that run through NLP and other manipulative type exercises to learn how to mold people. I've studied a lot of that stuff. I don't apply it. I don't reference any of that stuff. Like, I'm not formally trained in the way I do what I do, other than I've done it with experience. But like, even in that, I say to the front of the room, disclaimers to make me safe. Guys, this isn't a performance, right? This is not for me. This is, frankly, though I know it will benefit all of you in the audience, not for you. I'm going to be focused very intentionally in the person in front of me. And for whoever's getting in this seat, I need you to know that the faster you can open yourself, the faster we can compress time to be able to show you what's possible in this moment. And yes, I'm asking you to trust me, even though I haven't established that trust. But know that anyone who gets up in this chair, if you're not ready to sit in your truth, you're not ready to be in the chair. And so if you get up here and you don't open up, or you don't allow me, or I have to fight too much, I'm going to kindly ask you to get out of the chair, because we only have a limited amount of time. I know what I'm capable of, but I also can't tell you what direction this is going to go or what problem is going to get solved, because I focus on what's in front of me.
Yeah.
Right. And then I don't give two shits about being right. I care about getting it right. Right. And I frame in the person, but then I lock completely on the person in front of me. I'm not even worried about the audience. It's like they're not even there. Right. But again, it's this desire, this need that we have because of how many of us learn to receive love, validation, and connection through performance, that it's like, well, I have to show, I have to deliver. What if I get up there and flop? What if I'm in front of 2,500 people doing a hot seat coach and nothing, I can't do it. Right. It's all of that chatter that keeps us from flow.
Right.
So it's a belief of getting ourselves there. But guess what? I'm human, and I still feel these things.
Yeah.
Right. I walked into a senior leadership strategic planning meeting with a $50 million logistics company, and nobody gave me any of the prep work walking in. We have a major problem, a very confined time to do it. And if I'm worried about, well, shit, they paid me a lot of money to help them solve this problem. What if I can't? What if I don't have the information I need? If I'm worried, again, about accessing knowledge beyond the present moment, then I get stuck and I prevent flow. But if I know that I can walk in there and whatever's in front of me, I'll handle, we're going to have forward direction. We're going to have growth. We're going to have clarity. We're going to compress time, because that's what I do when I walk into rooms. Yeah. So it's an ownership of knowing that that's the impact I'm capable of having, as long as I allow it. But my wife and I say this because we complement each other well. She's always afraid that once she sees something, she won't know what to do with it. My biggest fear is that I'm going to miss something But anytime I see something, I know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean I know everything. So please hear that for what it's meant to be. But traditionally, I'm not afraid of handling whatever's difficult in front of me because we always find a way. If we ask enough questions, we create enough options and opportunities to make enough choices, we can find the way. And that's what I center in, is the things that I know I'm really good at, and I have to let go of everything else. Otherwise, flow doesn't exist.
Holy smokes, so much value in this episode. Listen, if you are loving what you're hearing, feel free to download, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to The Selling Show. Now, back to the interview. And it's funny, I think this pressure that we put on ourselves to deliver the result, get the outcome, help the $50 million logistics company in some meaningful way that's going to blow their doors off. A lot of times, people just need a sounding board. So, and how many coaching calls have you had where the client does 95% of the talking? You're there, you listen, you're encouraging. Maybe there's a formative question or a question that takes them off in a different thinking process. But they do 95% of the talking. They've done 95% of the thinking. The call is over, and they say, Brian, this was so valuable. This was worth the price of admission. Dude, I cannot believe I am so clear. I am so focused now. Thank you. You're awesome. You're like, I didn't really do anything. Now, that's not true. You did actually something. But how many times, like when that person is really, like you said, ready, open, being willing to share, the vulnerabilities, the good, the bad, the ugly, they're willing to put all the cards on the table. I think 50% of the game is they learn to help themselves.
Well, there's a lot of truth to it. And here's the other side of this. This can be a double-edged sword as a coach also, right? Because one, it can make it very difficult to own and justify the value that you really do have if you're constantly deferring the results and the process to your clients. But on the flip side, I don't want dependency in my business model. So like my job isn't to try to get them to be dependent on me. It's, to your point, to get them to learn to do this on themselves as quickly as possible.
Right.
And so for my side of it, I'm trying to reinforce their belief, and I'm reinforcing the actions and the reflection to that exact point while still owning the value that I have, right? So I'm a very good mirror, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes a single question can change the trajectory of somebody's life.
Oh, yes.
Now, I can't guarantee that that question is going to come up on every single call and every single interaction.
Right.
But every single one of my coaching calls, up to and including my mastermind, starts with some level of download from them.
Yes.
Catch me up. Where are you at? What's going on? What do you want to do with the time today? And I just hit it real hard and fast. And then all of my clients know, whether they're prepared with a path or not, that if they can get talking, typically within about 60 seconds, I've locked in.
Yeah.
Right. And then no matter how long they talk, I'm listening and I'm extracting and I'm putting together patterns, and I'm not thinking actively because I'm being very present, but I'm just like a sponge.
Yeah.
Waiting. So that when they're done, I'm just going to squeeze that sponge right back at them so that they can get wet from their own spit that they've been throwing at me, right? and yet, but like that's the point too, is it's sometimes we're a mirror, sometimes we're helping them just ground in the moment. Sometimes we do have something that's extremely profound. So that's also why I encourage all coaches, but all people who are on the receiving end of coaching, don't ever judge the value of a coaching relationship based on a single session. However, at the same time, if a single session changed your life, don't forget that, right? Because often it takes time, but it's both. And that's where it's really hard, is everything I'm talking to you about comes down to the reality that life is all about contrast. It's both. It's yes and. It's never just one.
So good. So good. Let's change gears, because I know that you have two super cool projects, two new things. It seems that the last bunch of interviews, like this last couple of weeks, I cannot talk to any of my friends without something AI related. AI project, AI product, AI service, who knows what it is. You have something really, really cool that you have built. Tell us about your foray into the world of AI.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was a late adopter to AI for a variety of reasons. And it goes back to, honestly, I believe that our voice is our greatest asset. right? Similar to what I'm even suggesting about myself. And because I handed my voice over so many times in life, and the first 18 to 24 months of watching AI, I'm watching everyone hand over their voices, and people who couldn't articulate a thought, a whole idea, are now doing long form content. Their voice, their brand, the feel of everything starts changing. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm watching literally people diluting the value of their voice, diluting the value of their impact that comes through their voice and their programs, their podcasts, their messages, their missions, and for the sake of speed and automation.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm all for speed and automation, but what I like better, time compression. Time compression consistently over time. I like to be able to make things tangible in a way that I otherwise would not be able to. I like to make consistencies where I would otherwise be inconsistent. And because of the way that we have AI now, we have the ability to build some of the most complex workflows that we've ever had the ability to do, and to be able to literally compress time on repeatable tasks and things that actually can drive value for us and our businesses. However, always with AI, I have an insert human here in the process.
Nice.
Because it can't just be for speed and automation, especially if we're going to sacrifice voice and human. Yeah. So what we built, and I built it for myself, it is literally a time compression engine. It's designed to take a 1-hour transcript, a meeting, a webinar. We've got a version right now that we just released that's going to be in beta version 2, where it'll scrub directly from a YouTube video. And what it does is it produces 7 to 11. I say 7 to 11 because 7 is the current version, 11 is the version 2. Predefined assets that are customized, unique within your voice. One of the things that I was known for is that I have clients who call me Chat BMB. I have a gift with words, as we've talked about, right? They'll come to me after going to ChatGPT and they're like, I can't seem to get it right. And we'll spend 10 minutes talking, and it's like, well, what about this? Boom, boom, boom. They're like, God, right? And then we'll build stuff collaboratively on AI together. But again, with voice maintained. So I took all of that knowledge and we built a voice and tone, basically agent, that's got 27 different criteria around voice, tone, and delivery. And it pre-feeds this. It is so good that my team did not even know that I had shifted to the general model instead of the one that was custom built for me. And they said, this is literally capturing 99% of your voice with no revisions. My voice, which was very difficult to capture in AI. But we're getting the same feedback from other people. And so one transcript takes about 20 seconds to upload, or a form to get the YouTube video in. And within 10 to 20 minutes, you will have all of these assets pre-done and delivered to you in an organized email and Google Drive for you to be able to deploy. There's PR-ready articles. There's LinkedIn articles maximized for the platforms. Everything is AEO and SEO maximized. All the AI slop is removed. All the meta tags are removed, and so they can be maximized, but they're ready to use deliverable assets for very little time. So this has been a fun project. It's been it's something that we certainly haven't seen anything rivaling, at least in the marketplace, because it's the idea of saying, if I'm going to produce these 7 to 10 assets every week anyways, why not build a system that allows it to happen anyway and automated?
Are all of the assets text, or are there also like memes, videos, things like that currently?
In the current 2 versions, they are all text. However, we have tested in 2 other versions ahead where there's actually also social media carousels, there's full-blown like video, and there's freebie graphics that are all built in, pre-done, and written appropriately. And so we're at the moment refining that version 3, because we already see it. And so what's coming is a supporting element of not just all the text and the copy, even the social media posts that we need appropriately, but also the assets to support them.
And then where do people go to find out more about this amazing platform?
You're going to go to go.brianbogert.com/realog. And David, I'm going to throw it in the chat here so that you've got it as well.
Okay.
But that is where you can go check it out.
Real OG. Does that stand for original gangsta?
It's the real OG AI. Why? Because I always teach that AI is the greatest investment we can make because it helps us compress time, reach more people, do more things, connect, and we could have the list go on. But I'm not talking about artificial intelligence, brother. I'm talking about awareness and intentionality. And without it, your AI won't work, and neither will your leadership, your programs, your offers, or anything else. And so I teach the importance of awareness and intentionality in the way that we use technology so that we secure and maintain and project and amplify our voice instead of hand it over, dilute it, and lose it.
Yes, really, really cool. Second big exciting project is actually a publishing project that started with your daughter and your cat.
Yeah. We got back from our New York family vacation, and our cat, who's got some underlying health issues, had lost 6 pounds in 11 days. Oof. And so he was really frail. We thought we were going to lose him. And I'm more of a dog person, not a cat person. And though we do have cats and we foster a lot of cats, I'm still more of a dog person. This guy is like the number 2 protector in the house. Like, he knows that I'm the alpha and the boss, but he looks over everyone, and especially my daughter. My daughter's hearing impaired, and I think he knows that because he always is in and around her head and had done these things. And so she took it very hard. I took it very hard. And one night I sat down just to process and write. And the next thing I knew, a first version of a book came out. And I didn't really think much of it, honestly, because it wasn't planned and I wasn't planning to do a book. The next morning on my live show, I had a really well-known international author who's had 46 best-selling books in the paranormal category. And in our conversation, it came up that his very first book he wrote was a children's book that he did in honor of his daughter. Well, the timing and the relevance of this was very real for me. So I then spent that next day revising, reformatting, and rewriting the whole book. Got it into structures that I thought could work. And then I started doing and playing with AI, because I've actually found how to create a lot of consistency in images with AI where a lot of people struggle. Again, with awareness and intentionality, I've been able to put those guardrails on. So next thing I know, I've got a 32-page book with all the illustrations, with everything set and ready to go. I wanted to give it to my daughter to help prepare and process, because we thought we were going to still be losing our cat. Yeah. And the funny thing is, man, that week, right after I wrote it, he gets this vibrant re-kick to life. But long story short, the difference between printing a book and giving it to my daughter and actually going through the process of getting it on Amazon KPB or KBP or however I'm first time published author there, so I'm learning it all. But it was not going to be that complex. The step wasn't that much different. And so why the hell not? I decided I'm going to go ahead and publish this, and she'll get the first copy ordered. And so I did. I had it 11 days after I wrote the story. I had it up for review on Amazon. Got approved in 2 days. And so it was 13 days from idea to published book, utilizing AI to support the illustrations alongside it. And it actually went live and published on the 33rd anniversary of the accident that tore my arm off. And so I believe everything happens for a reason, and the timing is always perfect, again, when we allow it. It was a really beautiful gift for that day, and it's taken off in a way that I didn't expect. And so I'm still promoting and still doing some components of it, but yes, it was a passion project that allowed us to prepare and to process, and now we get to celebrate the fact that he's still here. So
amazing. Now, has the cat's Instagram blown up? Does the cat have an Instagram account?
The cat doesn't have an Instagram, but who knows? I mean,
I would think about it. I would think about it.
So the title of the book is The Cat Who Watched the Wind. It's available on Amazon and on Kindle. And I'll be recording the audio version of it here in the next couple of weeks. But whether you're a kid or an adult who has had a furry friend, or you've ever struggled to feel like you belong, this book is for you.
Well, I know our audience is going to want to get connected and stay connected to more Brian Bogert brilliance. Where can we send people? What links should go into the show notes? Besides the ones you've already given me, which will totally be there.
I would say brianbogert.com if you're a web person. If you're a social media person, I'm at Bogert Brian on every channel. And again, I don't know if I said this last time, but I'll say it here. In our impact, or our mission to impact over 1 billion lives as quickly as we can, what I realize is 99.9% will never pay me $1. Why I say that is because we genuinely care about helping, and we genuinely care about getting people moving. And so if there's any value here and I can help further, reach out. And if there's not, all I ask is that you move that momentum back through the world, pay it forward, because moved people move people, and I need all the help I can get.
Amen, my brother. Thank you for being with us, Brian. I appreciate you, buddy.
Love you, bud.
And that wraps up another episode of The Selling Show. Hey, tell you what, if you like us, rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, tell a friend, go grab the notes and downloads and extras at thesellingshow.com. See you next time.